Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this MacBook Pro. This is a 16-inch 2021 model, A2485. Right, so first thing we're going to do is use a Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver and remove all the screws from the bottom. Right, there's 4 going along here and 4 going along here. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. The way I do that, put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. All right, so let's go ahead and remove all 8 screws. Okay, just like this. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, the screws near the hinge are longer than the screws near the front here. Okay, so keep that in mind. Alright, this MacBook had some liquid spilled inside, so we're gonna open it up and see if we can get it working. Right now it boots, but the keyboard doesn't work. So we're going to see why that is. Alright, once you got all those screws out, we're gonna use a suction cup. Let's actually rotate this so that the hinge is towards me and the opening is away. What we're going to do, we're going to use the suction cup to lift this up. Then once we get a corner of it up, we're going to go down here. We're going to pull up on the cover and push down over here. Okay, we're going to go around to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, and we should be able to pop the clips out just like that. Okay, the center clips you want to pop as well once you get those out. Okay, we're going to now rotate it like this, grab the cover. I use my fingernails here to kind of protect my fingers, because if you put your fingers too far, you can cut yourself. Then you grab here, pull down on the cover. You can also wrap your fingers over here and then push down here, just like that. And there you can see we can pop the cover out. Same thing on the other side, just like that. Okay, so there we go. We got the bottom cover off. This is what it looks like inside. Okay, you can see here are the clips that go into the air vent area to keep it locked into place. Okay, next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and see here what we got. Looks like someone actually peeled up a bunch of the connectors here. There's some corrosion that I can see. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better as well. Okay. Oh, it's kind of blurry. There you go. You can see the corrosion there. So we are going to try and clean up this corrosion so that it's not shorting any pins. Okay, you can see the green stuff kind of disappears. Alright, so what we're going to do now, let's see here. Let's go ahead and take these 2 connectors off first. Alright, I believe those are T3, but let's double check with the T5 first. Okay, definitely not a T5. Alright, let's check. I'll also check with the T4 to be safe, because you don't want to use a screwdriver that's too small. Okay. Yep, so it looks like T3, Torx 3. Oops, I might have zoomed in too much. There we go. We're going to remove this connector here. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. Sorry, it zoomed in way too much. Okay, and you want to keep all these screws in order as well, because there are a lot of screws. Okay, once you remove those 2, we can lift this out. And then we can actually pop this connector up out of the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop this out. Alright, and wow, this is burnt up pretty bad. This is actually, if I'm not mistaken, the trackpad cable. We're gonna see here, you can see the battery connection is underneath. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're also going, oh, that's also shorted a little bit. So we're going to clean that off as well. We're going to flip that latch up, and then we're going to grab this cable and pull that out. Okay, so grab the adhesive thing and then use that to pull it back. Okay, the cable seems okay. Doesn't seem like it got any liquid damage on it. We're going to peel this up. Okay, then we're going to get to this screw. Try and keep the cable as flat as possible. All right, we're going to also flip the latch up over here for the battery. Grab this and pull that back. And there we go, we got this cable out. This is the battery cable. I don't see a model number. There's a bunch of tiny numbers, but I don't think that's a model number. So yeah, anyways, make sure you remove this cable. I'll show you these numbers just in case they're useful for anything, but I don't think they will be. There you go. 03122-03, and then some other random stuff, C2131. Right, and make sure that you know which way you took it out. It goes like this if we're going to put it back later. All right, then we're going to probably switch over to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver and remove the screw tab here for the battery. Okay, undo that screw. And this thing is all bent, so I think somebody worked on this and messed it up because it's crooked. I bent it back kind of more centered, but it's supposed to be further back like this, so that way the metal tabs in here kind of line up. It's actually still crooked, so I would still have to push it back. If I pull this back, let me actually show you. We're going to set this screw aside. Let me see, I'm going to peel the trackpad cable up a bit more. So try and, again, keep it flat and slowly peel it. I'm going to hold down this spot and peel this, and there we go. Okay, so if you look underneath here of this metal tab, you can actually see two metal contact points, and that's how the battery connects. So yeah, this would have to be shoved over more. All right, but anyways, here you can see there's a whole bunch of corrosion on this trackpad cable area here, so we're going to try and clean that off. That's pretty bad. I think it looks pretty burnt, but at least the cables, it doesn't look like they melted off, they just got discolored, and the corrosion was likely causing a short, so it wouldn't connect properly. So we're just going to clean that and any corrosion we see around the motherboard. And I'm going to pull the entire motherboard out, okay? Because the keyboard's not working, we're also going to disconnect the keyboard cable here. So we're going to peel this up, flip that latch back, and pull this cable out. And this end of the cable actually looks okay, so we're probably okay. There's a little corrosion there, so we'll clean that off as well. Okay, so you can see that green stuff is gone now. So hopefully we'll be okay with that. But anyways, we're going to completely disassemble this thing just so we can make sure everything is working okay. I'm going to zoom out. I'm not going to be taking the battery or the speakers out of here, but I will kind of, let's see if there's a battery model number, A2527, that's the battery model number, and it's held in with adhesive, so just like a lot of the older models, you will have to kind of scrape the battery out with a thin tool. Okay, but I'm not going to do that on this one because most likely the battery is fine. So we'll see. If they have to replace the battery, we'll work on that later. All right, there's a little corrosion here as well, so we're going to try and clean that, scrub that out. Okay. All right, and let's go ahead now and start removing all the other components. There are quite a few. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I don't know if I can zoom in too close because all the stuff all over my desk. And I think we're going to have to be using the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver for a lot of these. So let's go ahead and switch over. Okay, we're going to remove this screw here. Again, keep all the screws in order. There are a lot of them, all right? And you don't want to get them mixed up because mixing them up can cause damage. Right, we're going to take this metal plate off, set that aside, and then we're going to flip this little cable up. Okay, so just get underneath. You can use plastic pry tools. I just use my fingernails and pop it up like that. Okay, this looks okay. I actually need to clean off the trackpad cable because it does have like some corrosion on there. So we'll try cleaning that as well. Okay. All right, I'm just going to hold it like this and kind of brush it. But I believe this cable's going to need to be replaced. It looks pretty bad. But we'll see. I'll brush it up a little bit and we'll see. If we're lucky, that can clear the short. We are going to have to peel out. I don't know if you can see the difference there. The pins are getting cleared up. But we are going to remove the trackpad as well just to see inside. Okay, just want to make sure this is all cleaned up as good as possible. Okay, hopefully the pins just need to be separated. All right, If we're lucky, that corrosion could be what's causing the entire issue. Flip this latch up here. Oops, sorry, I'm not even showing what I'm doing. Flip that latch up, make sure to clean underneath and on top. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and remove the trackpad. Most likely we're gonna need the T5 or Torx 5. I probably should have done this one first. And we're gonna remove all these screws. Yep, okay, this is the right size. Okay. And if this is like the other MacBooks, then we're gonna open the screen and carefully remove the trackpad after we get all these screws out. Okay, you can see there are 5 screws on either side, and there's also 2 down here. Okay, make sure you remove the right 2. It's the ones in this metal area. You don't want to remove the ones down here on the black area. Okay, we'll leave those be. All right, then we'll get these 5 out over here. Alright, so we got those out. Probably should have taken a picture of the corrosion. Alright, let's see if this will pop out now. I'm going to carefully lift the trackpad up, keeping my hand under here, and then we're going to carefully... Is something else holding it up? Am I missing? Do I have to remove this screw as well in the middle here? Very likely. Let's remove that as well. Something is still holding it down. See, I hope they didn't do some weird tricks on this thing. I don't know what's underneath this metal plate here. Let's peel this up. Okay, there is something under there. I don't know if I have to remove that. And it's held in with some foam. And there's an adhesive here as well. Okay, I'm gonna have to be careful with this because I don't know what's holding it, what it's holding on to, or what's underneath. Carefully peel this up. Okay, let's peel this up. There's not really anything under here. It's just more battery stuff. Okay, there's one screw hidden down there. Oh, I see. There's one more screw. Okay, let's go ahead and get that. I think we need to remove this second screw over here, down here. Oops, not that one. Okay, I think we actually leave the silver screws. There's one more screw in the middle here that I didn't see earlier. Also a black screw. Okay, holding the trackpad. Let's see, will it come out now? Okay, oops. So it's just that one screw I didn't see. Let's go ahead and put this silver screw back in. So this actually helps hold the battery thing in place. So keep in mind, if you are replacing the battery, that you do remove these 2 screws. All right, let's go ahead and lift this up again and drop this through. Okay, drop the connector through and carefully lift the trackpad out of here. Oh no, that's not good. So it's damaged on both sides here. Trackpad is also damaged on here as well. You can see there's some corrosion. We're gonna try and clean that and see if that works. The customer was telling me the trackpad was acting all weird, so let me get a photo for them, a close-up of all the parts. Okay, so I'm gonna carefully put this down. Sorry, I'm trying to get some photos for my customer here. Okay, we're gonna set this aside. You want to be careful because there are these little washers, and one of them, as you can see, they come off really easily. All right, and if you're not careful, you can lose those washers, and you don't want to lose them. I'm not really sure if they're necessary, most likely not, but Apple will definitely know you did something if you're missing those washers. Okay, we're gonna clean up the corrosion on here as well. Okay, let me actually see if we can pull this cable out. I think there's adhesive here, so we're gonna peel it up, yep, and then pull it back. All right, you can see there's corrosion underneath here and here. So I'm going to carefully put this down and clean this off. All right, clean off the corrosion from there, from the cable. All right, we're going to clean off the corrosion from here as well. Okay, hopefully this is all right. We're going to now get this cable back in. Okay, make sure to get this in. When you get this cable in, make sure you're lifting it up so the adhesive isn't sticking it down. And then once you get it in all the way, you can go ahead and stick the adhesive down and flip that latch down. Just slide your finger over the top. All right, I'm going to set the trackpad aside. Give me a second. I'm going to send the customer some of those photos and I'll be back. All right, so I'm back. Anyways, let's make sure to remove all the other stuff, and then we're going to try and pull the board out. I'm trying to see if we have any T5 Torx 5 screws to worry about. Looks like all the motherboard screws might be T5, and then all the connection screws are T3. So yeah, and these hinge screws here might be slightly larger. Let me see if a T6 will fit. Oops, sorry, I'm like zoomed too far in. Okay, let's see. Will T6? Okay, so these might be T6. Yep. So the ones here and here are T6 or Torx 6 screws, and the other motherboard screws are T5. And then it looks like all these little connectors are T3. So I'm going to remove all the T5 screws here. Oops. I was about to do the T6 one first. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all the T5 screws. Hopefully you guys can see. There's one there. I don't know why they have all these little posts sticking up here, but we're going to leave those. Okay. There's another one here. All right. Then we got two down here. All right. So we're just removing all the motherboard screws first. And we got one up here. It's a lot of screws. Okay. Let's see. This is T3. So these are T3. So only the motherboard ones appear to be T5. So we're going to remove this screw as well. This one here, and then there's another two here, just like on the other side. Okay. Looks like this board, at least with the screws, is pretty symmetrical. Okay, and then there's one more here. It's pretty nice, it's symmetrical. All right, we're gonna switch over to the T6 or Torx 6, and we're gonna remove the two from up here. All right, this one. And this one. If your screwdrivers are a little bit loose, you might want to use different sizes. Use whatever fits the best. But these seem to be the correct sizes. All right. So 6, 5, T3. We're going to switch back to the Torx 3. I'm not going to be messing with the wireless antennas and stuff unless I need to, which I probably won't. But we'll see. All right. We're going to go ahead and remove the two screws here. Okay, so again, there's a lot of screws, so hopefully you guys can keep track of them. If you use my method of putting them in the pattern you remove them, that should help you keep track of them pretty well. Okay, I'm gonna remove those two. Metal plate, remove that, and then flip this latch up. Okay, and this is for that USB-C port. Man, I can barely get my fingernail in there. I shouldn't have cut them shorter, but there we go. Right, pull that up. So we got those connectors disconnected. What else? We're gonna go down here. This looks like a special type of screw here. We're gonna, is this also T3? Okay, this is also T3. All right, and then we'll remove that. Then we'll flip this latch up, same thing. I should probably zoom in for you guys so you can see a bit better. Sorry, I'll zoom in more when I put them back. All right, we're gonna go over here. I don't know if we need to remove the Oh, we probably do. So let's go ahead and disconnect the fan cables here. Okay, so we'll get underneath, peel that up, flip this latch just like all the other ones, and then we're gonna wiggle and pull this back. I think there's adhesive under here, so it's gonna help to use a thin flat tool like this. And what I do is I kind of just wiggle the tool as I slowly get underneath to peel it up. Okay, just like this. Slowly work our way. There we go. Once that's peeled up, we can pull this cable back and move that aside. We're likely going to have it go through the motherboard this way. Okay. All right, there's another cable down here that I didn't remove, so we're going to peel this back, flip this latch up, and then we're going to wiggle and pull this back. There we go. There is some corrosion on there as well, so we're going to wipe that off and clean that off as well. Okay, it was a little green on that area. We're going to undo this fan connector as well. Okay, same thing. You can use a little tool to help get underneath and peel that back. Flip that latch up. We're going to same thing, get under here with this. Uh-oh, this one's stuck down a lot more. How am I going to get under there? Okay, we'll start from this side, I guess. Alright, and can we peel this up? Let's see if we can pull this back first. There we go. Okay, now we're going to get underneath and wiggle under to get this connector up and disconnected. There we go. Alright, now we're going to get rid of these connections over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. T3 as well. Okay, and this one. I don't know if we're going to have to remove the entire screen to remove this. I hope not. Okay, we're going to disconnect this. One thing I didn't mention, which we probably should have done after disconnecting the battery, open it up and press and hold the power button for 15 seconds. This is mostly important when you go to work on the screen, if you're removing the screen connections. And the reason I'm doing it now is because I was about to remove the screen connectors. Okay, and this is what it looks like underneath the trackpad if you wanted to see. Okay, there we go. I'm going to clean off the area underneath here a little bit. Okay, sorry, it's just cleaning the trackpad area. Okay, so here you can see we got one of these connectors here. I'm going to flip this up. All right, and that looks okay. I don't see any moisture or liquid damage under there. Okay, we're going to remove this one now. Let me move some of these things out of the way. So I have more room to put the other screws. Okay, so we got that one screw and this one screw. Okay, remove that metal plate. Looks like there's some brown stuff there. I don't know if that's from liquid damage. We're going to pop these two connectors up. I just used my fingernail again. Pop those up. Okay, and I'm pretty sure these are screen connectors. If you're removing the screen, you'd have to remove these as well. And I think these are T5 or T6 screws. Okay, T5 fits. What about T6? No, those are T5s. Okay, so those are T5 screws. And then if you want to remove these screws out here, 3 on each side, or 3 here, and 3 on the last side, those are pentalobe 0.8 or P2 screws. Okay. All right, we're going to now undo the wireless antenna screws. So there's 3, there's 1 screw there, and there's 2 over here. Okay. Again, make sure you keep all these screws in order. There are quite a few. Okay, get that metal plate off. And then to remove the wireless antennas, you just get underneath. You can use fingernails, you can use pry tools or whatever. But basically you just go under the tail and pop it straight up just like that. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see. All right, just get underneath the tail and pop it up just like that. And the last one Alright, so we got all the wireless antenna screws out. You can lift the wireless antennas up a little bit. Okay, now we're going to go all the way to the far side over here and remove all of these. Again, using the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver. Oh man, I'm running out of room on my desk for this. Okay, move those two. Alright, and then we'll take out this metal plate. I'm not too sure what this little connector does. Maybe it's a lid close detector. But anyways, we're going to flip this cable up and out as well. Okay, then we've got more going down here. Remove that screw and remove this screw. Okay, move that metal plate out of the way. Flip this connector out. Just like that. And we got 3 more screws for these 2 USB ports, USB-C ports. Okay. And then we have 2 more for the headphone jack. Okay, well now that we got those 3 out, let's remove this metal plate as well. Okay, we're going to flip up both of these connectors. As you can see, they put a separate connector for each USB-C port. I wonder if they changed that design because people kept breaking the USB-C ports and then it was too costly to repair or replace them. Alright, we got 2 more screws down here. Okay, and then we can disconnect the audio headphone jack. Okay, we'll take out this metal plate. Oh, there's one more. Okay, we're going to flip this cable up as well. Right, and move this out of the way. Alright, and we got one more down here that we're going to remove, and hopefully after this we can remove the Logicboard or motherboard. Okay, there's too many screws, so now I'm going to move them over a little bit. Okay, we'll take that metal plate off, and we'll pop that connector up as well. Alright. And it looks like there's a bolt here, or bolt on either side that we're going to have to remove. Let's see what size that is. That's pretty big. Is that a 4.5? Nope. Maybe a 4.0. Okay. So it's a 4.0, which is basically the same as the screwdriver thing I'm using, I believe. So we should be able to just use this. No? I guess not. Alright, we'll use the 4.0. And unbolt these. Okay. Alright, so we got these out. One on this side and one on the other side. Okay, one down here as well. I didn't really pay too close attention earlier. But yep, we got to remove that as well. Alright, there we go. And let's see, is there anything else hidden, any tricks that they're playing here that I'm going to have to remove? I think we got everything. So let's go ahead now and zoom out. Alright, and see about removing the motherboard. So we're going to get underneath and we're going to try and lift this up. Okay, let's see. You want to try and pull all the cables aside as you're lifting. Okay, this is going to be a little tricky. Okay, it looks like it's getting caught on something over here. I'm not sure what, so let's go ahead and try this side and see if it's any different. Okay, oh, there's one cable here, it looks like, that I missed. Alright, so we can get under there. Let's zoom in. Okay, so here we have another connector. We're going to get underneath, peel up this plastic stuff. Come on. Alright, peel that back. Once you get that peeled back, we're going to flip this latch. And we're going to wiggle this and pull this cable out. Come on. Come on, let go. Might have to pull up a little bit as you pull it back. And there we go. We got that last connector out. Now let's zoom out and hopefully we could easily get the Logicboard or motherboard out this time. Okay, I'll zoom out a tiny bit more. All right, so we're gonna lift, I'm gonna start from here because I can get my fingernail under there. Then we're gonna go over here, push these cables aside. Again, make sure nothing is holding it down. We're gonna have to make sure all these cables are out of the way. Carefully lift it up, okay? The cables are gonna constantly try and get underneath or on top of the motherboard or logic board again. Okay, this isn't held down with adhesive or anything, so we're gonna carefully continue lifting this up. You got all these cables in the way. We're gonna have to just continue working our way over while lifting all these cables out of the way. Okay. Am I missing something? Because it is kind of tough to lift this out. Okay, we got all of those cables out, got all of those cables out. Okay, it looks like it swings a little bit towards myself while we're kind of lifting. You want to be very careful, lift very slowly, because if anything is getting caught, you want to make sure to stop and move the things out of the way. Okay, wireless antennas, get those out of the way, carefully, slowly work this out, wiggle this. Is this getting caught on something? I feel like the heatsink here is getting caught on something for some reason. I don't know what it is, but do I have to remove whatever's over here? No, okay, that's coming up. So what is going on? Move this cable out of the way, lift this, wiggle it. Okay, it's slowly, carefully coming up. The wireless antennas are kind of getting jammed in the way. Alright, so grab the whole board, kind of continue lifting and wiggling, make sure nothing is getting caught, and work our way out, and work our way out. And there we go. You can see there's some liquid residue damage here as well. Okay, so try and get that out. Okay. Alright, so we got the entire motherboard out. Now I can kind of see what all the connections are going to. Here you can see this is for the power button as well as the fingerprint sensor. Okay, USB-C port. You got this connector here, which looks like for one speaker. The other one was for the other speaker. Oops, I don't know if you guys saw what I was pointing to. I'm zoomed in or out way too much. Alright, anyways, fingerprint home power button here. USB-C port. Speaker on the, well, right now it's on the left, but this is the right speaker because when we flip it over. Alright, then you got the fan connector here, fan connector there. You got this connector going all the way up there. I'm assuming this is the keyboard backlight connector. Keyboard connector here. It looks like you got some screws holding the keyboard in, but I have a feeling the entire thing is not like that. I think if you peel this out, you're probably going to see rivets and stuff underneath, which is going to be very annoying. What else do we got? Okay, we got all these connectors here. Again, headphone jack, audio jack, USB-C port, USB-C port. This is the charger. So the charger, you can replace it, or the charge port. And then you got there's 3 microphones here with one connector. And I think that's pretty much it. All the rest of this stuff goes into the screen. And then you have this for the wireless antennas, which is this bar going across. And I believe it's just being held in with the 3 sets of 3 screws, so 9 screws total. Okay, anyways, let me get a picture of the corrosion on the motherboard. But here you can see the motherboard or logic board removed from the MacBook. Okay, it's actually not really dusty or anything, so they kept it pretty clean. All right. Okay, here you can see what the logic port looks like close up. Looks like this is space for additional RAM or storage. Most likely storage. I believe this is like solid state memory. So I think this is like additional room for more solid state memory if you have a larger capacity model. All right. I don't see anything underneath here for the CPU, GPU, or the M1 chip. Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's see, there's a little corrosion on here as well, so we're going to clean that off. Okay, just kind of brush it up, make sure there's no corrosion on there. Jeez, what's happening out there? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can clean this area a little bit better. I don't know why this is all wrinkly, as if it got like melted or something. That's really weird. If you look at this, I don't know why that's all wrinkly. Right, there's a little bit more corrosion here as well. So we're gonna clean that up as well. Most of it is coming out nicely. Okay, looks okay. All right, we're gonna flip this over and see on the other side here. Here you can see the battery connector here. I don't know why there's like some black gunky looking stuff there, like Sharpie, I don't know. Okay, this side of the logic board or motherboard, I don't see much going on there. All right, not really much going on here. Okay, there's a little bit of green stuff here and green stuff up there, so we are going to have to clean that up as well. And also some kind of, looks like evaporated liquid residue or something here. So I'm going to just use a little bit of paper towel with some isopropyl alcohol on it. But let me take a few pictures for the customer, show them, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I forgot. I wasn't recording, and then I was like cleaning off the corrosion. So there was a bunch of green corrosion up here, some all down here, okay? But basically just scrubbing off all that green oxidation. It's basically like rusted stuff from copper, because when copper rusts, it turns green. All right. And I don't know what the white powdery stuff, maybe it's like oxidized nickel or something. Whatever they plate these things with, tin. Okay, and there's some here too. Let me get a picture of that as well. Okay. So I'll send the customer more pictures to show the corrosion. All right, this one looks kind of bad here. All right, there was a lot all over here that I cleaned off already. So I'll clean this as well. A lot of times it's just that slight corrosion there that causes some short in the connections, and sometimes cleaning it off actually fixes the computer, because then it removes the shorts between the pins, and if those components didn't get fried in the process, then a lot of times it'll actually save the computer. So there we go. I'll clean that up. Then I should actually re-inspect it close up again. And if you're wondering, I am keeping myself grounded by keeping my leg on my metal desk. All right. This little speck there. Okay, for the most part, looks good now. Brush this up a little more. Just want to make sure all the corrosion is off. Okay. Looks good. Okay. And if you're wondering how to redo the thermal paste, you have to remove the screws from the bottom of the motherboard here in order to get underneath this. Okay. All right, so looking at this, I think we are good now. Okay, I'm going to clean up a little bit of these little spots here. We're just going to use a little rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Okay. okay? Just a tiny bit. And we'll clean this off here and here. Looks like those spots kind of just stay. They don't really clean off. So I think that should be it. We'll flip this over. And this side also has a little bit of gunk on it, so we'll clean that as well. And also over here. Whatever that stuff is, doesn't want to clean off. Okay, so I think that's probably as good as we're going to get it. Okay. Yeah, whatever this thing is here, it doesn't want to clean off. Okay, and we'll do one more close-up inspection here. Clean this with a little rubbing alcohol. Alright, I hope that's going to work, because we'll see. I know for sure the trackpad cable is kind of messed up, so I don't know. We might have to at least replace the trackpad cable, and possibly this piece might have to be replaced. But yeah, let's go ahead and reassemble this thing. This thing is going to be a pain to reassemble because of all the cables that are involved that are sticking up and everything. All right, and also like these pieces need to be pushed out of the way. So again, this is not going to be easy job. Hopefully you guys watched all the way through before starting, because once you start, you're going to be either have to finish or you're going to end up with your thing completely disassembled and in pieces. All right, so we're going to drop this side of the heatsink in first, okay? And the difficult part, getting these fan connectors to stay up. It does help to kind of use some little tweezers and things like that, okay? But it's not going to be easy, okay? I'm going to drop this down, kind of pull this cable through if we can. We're going to use this little tool, kind of just guide the fan cable over, okay? Again, there's a lot of cables here that we are going to have to get back in. Oops, I'm going to have to pull this back out. Shoot. Okay. And we have to make sure all of them end up back on top. So one thing you can kind of do is make sure to push everything into place beforehand. I'm going to kind of like bend this over that way and bend this over that way. We'll bend up all the cables on this side upwards. Okay. All right, and then let's go ahead and carefully, slowly try and drop this back into place again. Okay, and all these cables here, as you can see, I'm kind of rotating it slightly here so that I can try and get all these other cables back on top, because they are going to want to end up underneath, especially these wireless antennas. Okay, lift that up. Get these up out of the way. Okay. Get that back up out of the way. I'm going to have to very carefully, slowly do this, alright? Don't forget these cables down here as well. Okay, again, and also this rubber piece we have to make sure ends up on top as well. Oops. And knock some pieces down. Okay, slowly, carefully, slowly, carefully. Whew, man, okay. I'll rotate this. Rotate that. Make sure this goes underneath. Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, make sure that cable's on top. Right now it's holding itself up on all the cables that are stuck underneath. Okay, get this cable up. Pull this. The antenna is kind of one of the more stubborn ones that cause it to not go down properly. So keep that in mind. Come on, get in there. This cable's not wanting to go up. There we go. Okay. Get those two up on top. This cable's going back underneath. Okay. Got all these cables over here. Slow and careful process. Alright, each one of these cables will snag on it, so you have to carefully do one at a time, find which one is raised up the highest, holding it up the highest, and then you push that one out of the way, and then you just keep working your way around, making sure all the cables are not blocking it. Okay, so we got most of that. We're going to shove it over more to the left here now. Alright, something is jamming it, probably the wireless antennas. Make sure these are on top still. And there we go. I think we got everything back in. Alright, now you want to, oh, sorry, I was probably out of view for a lot of these, but we were slowly pulling each cable back out. So now you want to double check. Got that connector here, this one, this one, this one. You want to go up and down the entire board, this one, okay. This small one is for the battery that we took out, the trackpad one we took out, keyboard, and keyboard backlight, got it. Wireless antennas, we got these two. Oop, this rubber piece, make sure you get that out on top. Alright, these rubber pieces are important because they seal the this air vent here, so when the air blows through, it doesn't just come back out over the gap here, it goes actually in that direction. Okay, we got the connector here. Uh-oh, we missed this one. This one in the corner here. So lift the board up, get that out. There we go. Okay, that one, those two, this one, this one, this one, and that one. Okay, I think that's all the connectors. Everything appeared to be in place. Make sure the motherboard does go into the right place because it is not. Alright, let's go ahead and reconnect all these connectors one by one. And, oops, I left the thing charging the entire time. Sorry guys, so you're probably listening to like static, but... Well, alright, let's get everything reconnected. Power button, fingerprint button. And it's also important that you get these lined up right. When you click them down, you want to make sure they click in and are lined up right before you press it down all the way. Because you don't want to push it down when it's not lined up and then end up damaging the connectors or the thing. If I'm not mistaken, this Touch ID, if you replace this button, it's not going to work right. The Touch ID won't work at all. The power button will probably work, but the Touch ID won't work at all. Alright, I think it's linked to the motherboard. Okay, we're going to get this cable in. Alright, and this is going to be a little tough too because the motherboard does have a little play to it, so it's not lining up completely. You're going to have to kind of adjust this cable around to get it lined up and then push that in. Okay, seems good. And then we're going to have to test and make sure that when we power it up that it works in all the charge ports. Okay, that's good, that's good. Alright, we're going to get this speaker plugged in. Also helps to look from the side. Oops, sorry. also helps to look from the side angle. Like basically, if you look in here, you can kind of see a little bit better if it's lined up. Hopefully you guys saw how I reconnected this. They're all basically the same for those kinds of press-in connectors. Make sure this latches up for the fan here. Okay, and the fan, you're gonna get this lined up. Can be a little tricky because of the adhesive. All right, get that lined up. Push that in. You can see a tiny bit of the gold pin sticking out. That's how it's supposed to be. Then slide your finger over the top to latch it down. Right, once you do that, you can put the adhesive back into place. All right, let's do this screen connector. Also make sure to pull these rubber pieces out so they sit flat like that. Okay, I'm gonna get this cable in. Might have to kind of shove it back a little bit this way if it's not lining up right. Okay, again, it might help to look from the side. There we go. Click that into place. All right, we got these two and the wireless antenna, same thing. Let's get this in. Click that into place, good. All right, click that into place. Wireless antennas, we'll just lower this down. There's some stuff on here, so I'm gonna try and wipe that off. Okay, line up the antenna. You'll know it's lined up because if you try and wiggle it to move it, it stays in place. All right, let's do this one next. Technically, it doesn't matter which order you go in, whatever you can get in, whatever order. Okay, line that up. And click that last one in. There we go, perfect. All right, what else? We got those in. We're gonna go down here now for the keyboard and stuff. I have to be careful I don't knock all the screws over that I have here set up. So let's see, we got, what are we even looking at? Oh, we passed it. Okay, it's over here. Okay, keyboard connector. Make sure that you peel this off of the connector here. All right, like that. Make sure the latch is up. This can be pretty tricky to get in. I'm gonna try and tilt the laptop so you can see a little bit better. All right, get this cable in, and then use this plastic thing to slide it into place. Here you can see, and now only a tiny bit of it sticking out. Once you got that, hold that into place, and then slide your finger over the latch and put this adhesive back down. All right, there we go. Then we got this connector here. Same thing, peel that adhesive back, get that lined up, and pull that into place. Okay. Make sure, of course, the latch is up. All right, and then, oops, sorry, you can't even see. Then you can see a little bit of the gold shows as well on here. Once you get that, you can slide your finger over the latch to lock it down, and then you can slide your finger over the adhesive. Okay, what else we got? Everything on the other side. Okay, so we got all these connectors. I'm gonna have to move stuff out of the way so I can show you guys. All right, just line it up, click it down. Okay, these you actually kind of hear it click. Line this up. It's a little bit crooked. Maybe I should get the motherboard in place first, but let's see. There you go, click that in. Also, the motherboard doesn't automatically line up, as you can see, so you can actually move this around by kind of getting in between and sliding that. So, all right, then we've got these two USB-C connectors. Get that lined up and click that in, good. Get this one lined up and click that in. Oop, it unclicked itself. Make sure those are in all the way. All right, then we got this little connector down here. Line that up and click that in, and we got the microphone connector here. Get that lined up. Okay, this is a little tricky as well. I'm gonna rotate it. My hand's probably gonna be in the way, but oh yeah, this has some adhesive on the bottom of the connector as well. Okay, pull that in. Same thing, you only see a little bit of the gold connector sticking out. Slide your finger over the latch and then put the adhesive down. All right, last speaker connector here. Get that lined up. And should be able to, come on, get lined up right. And click that in. Okay. All right, and that's good. All right, so now let's zoom out. Now we just got to get all the motherboard screws and everything back in. Zoom out a little more so you can see the entire thing at once. All right, let's go ahead and make sure all these connections are in. When we put the little metal plates on top, they will kind of hold them back in place. First two screws we're going to put are these bottom corner ones using the T4, or not the T4, what are these, Hex 4.0. Actually, maybe I should do these last. Okay, after we got everything connected, they're actually lining themselves into place. So we can go ahead and actually get these screws in, if you can. Actually, these look like they're going to be difficult to get in. So what you can do is you can use the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver. Let's see here. So we're going to use the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver. And what we'll do is we'll use the screw that was going into it on top to tighten into it. Okay, so here you can see we have this screw. If it's going to focus, come on. So you can see I just put that screw on top, and then we can use that to get this into place. Okay, just like this. Once you get it in enough, you can actually take that little screw back out. You don't want to tighten it too tight, because after that you're going to use the actual tool, the hex tool, to get that in. So we're going to do the same thing on the left side. Okay, and the reason you don't want to tighten it too far is because then the two pieces might get stuck together and it'll be a lot harder to separate. You might have to use pliers to get it out. So there we go. We're going to now switch over to the hex tool here, and we'll just tighten that down. Okay, same thing with this side. Tighten that down. Good. So we got those in place. We'll put that tool away. We won't need it again. Then we're going to get the T6, and we're going to put these two corner screws in first. Okay. That way the entire, like, four corners of the motherboard will be locked into place, and we shouldn't have to worry about it moving around. Okay. So we'll tighten that down, and we'll tighten this down. One thing you want to do, or one thing I'll do, I'm going to actually leave this screw loose a little bit. Okay. These two. And the four corner ones, I didn't do that earlier, but I should. So we're going to loosen these. And then because this side of the motherboard actually has the SD card reader and the HDMI port attached, I'm going to use that I'm going to push the motherboard over that direction to make sure that it's completely lined up into there. And then we can go ahead and tighten those screws down. Okay. Go. And the reason for that is to make sure the HDMI port and the SD card slot are firm against that side, because all the other ports on the other sides of the motherboard are actually already like held in there separately, and then they connect with those cables. Okay, there we go. So we're done with the T6 or Torx 6 screwdriver as well. We can now put back all the T5 or Torx 5 screws to hold the motherboard down. Okay, so we'll get this one screw here. Okay. Then we got, am I mixing stuff up? Okay, that's right. Then we got this one here. And then we got this one down here. Then we got these two screws here. Okay. Looking good. right, we're gonna work our way down over to here. Let me actually zoom in a little bit for you guys. Okay, we got this screw here. Oh, I didn't reconnect the fan on this side, so I'll do that once I get these screws in. Come on, there we go. Did I mix something up? No, wait. Oh, I think I might have taken a wrong screw here. Is this? Let me confirm by checking the other side. Yeah, you don't want to mix them up. So the two screws, like with this, I guess all four, because the two on the other side are slightly longer. So keep that in mind. You don't want to, again, you don't want to mix them up. I'm going to take one out from the motherboard to confirm again. Yeah, I picked one up, I picked up the wrong one and put that in. Okay, so we'll put the two longer ones down here. And these ones are slightly longer because they have these little metal rings that are slightly raised. Okay. All right, then we got the one screw here. And one more screw over here. Okay, there we go. Now we've got everything, all the screws for the motherboard in. We're gonna also get this cable in that we forgot earlier. Line it up, push that into place. Same thing, you'll see a little bit of the gold pin. Slide your finger over the latch and then slide your finger over that. Okay, we're gonna switch over to the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver now, and we're gonna put all those little metal covers back in. Those hold the connectors into place. So we're gonna take one screw like this. We'll take the metal plate here, and what we'll do is we'll get the screw in, use the plate to help guide it, and then we can loosely fit that. You're gonna loosely fit it because we need to be able to make sure that we can align this right. Okay, so get that aligned, get the other screw in, and then we can go ahead and tighten them both down. Okay, just like that. Good. All right, we're gonna use the one for the USB-C port. And this one, if you're wondering, there's a round side and a flat side. The round side goes to the top, or the, I guess, the back where the hinges are, and the flat side goes down, aligning up with the big rectangle square thingy here. Okay, get that lined up. Second screw, get this lined up, and we'll tighten that down. Good, and we'll tighten this down. All right, then we got to get the one down here. This one had the weird screw. Okay. And if you're wondering why it's shaped like that, the reason it's shaped like that is because the bottom cover has the little metal clips that latch over it. Okay. If you don't put those screws back, then those metal latches for the cover won't snap into place, so keep that in mind. All right, there we go. All right, let's work our way over. We got these for the screen. Okay, so I'll grab that, use this to line it up, get that screw in. Okay, get the second one, line that up, and get that screw in, tighten it down. Good, let me make sure nobody's messaging me right now. Uh-oh. I'm getting a lot of messages actually, but let me go ahead and finish this because we're just reassembling now. Okay. Get that. Same thing, line it up, get that screw in. Loosely fit it. Get the other one. Line it up and tighten it down. Okay. Right, we can now put back these screws for the wireless antennas. Let's get this one in first. Alright, you get the other two. We'll get this in. Get the second one. And get this one in. Good. Tighten this one in. Alright, that's good. Now we got all the little covers on the side going down here. Alright, get that screw in. Second screw. Those in and tighten that in. Alright, continuing down the side. That up. There we go. Alright. Okay, and this one has 3. This screw lined up. There we go. We'll do the outer one now, or the bottom one. And then we'll get the middle one. Now we can tighten them all down. I don't know if he gave me the charger for this, and I don't have this MacBook charger, so I might not be able to turn this MacBook on even after I fixed it. Yeah, I think he didn't give me the charger for this. Alright, we're gonna get this lined up. Actually, did he? I think... Okay, well, let's get this in. I know he had the whole box, but I think I might have only taken the MacBook. I didn't think about the charger. Okay. Here we go. And the last connector down here. Like that up. Okay, we'll get this one in. There we go, tighten that down, and that one down. Alright, next thing we're gonna do, we gotta get the battery stuff. Well, actually we have to do the trackpad. Okay, well the trackpad we can do. Oh, here you can also see some liquid damage on the trackpad, so let me actually get a picture of that as well. Sorry, I want to make sure I have pictures for the customer to see. Alright, I'm going to try and clean that off as well. Uh-oh. That's one thing I was worried about. Those little washers are going to fly out everywhere. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put this down on the desk here. And I'll try and clean it that way. Move that out of the way. We'll try and clean this. This metal stuff is a little spring-loaded, so you want to be careful. Okay. This side looks okay, it's just this side that looks bad. Okay. I'm gonna use a little rubbing alcohol and see if we can get out those little droplet looking thingies. Okay. I don't know if, oh yeah, you can see it in camera. So I'm gonna try and clean that off. Kind of, not really. Okay, it only slightly came out, but not really. Okay, sometimes using water will help remove those kinds of spots. Let's try a little bit of water on there. The only thing, if you use water, you want to make sure to dry it up completely. Okay, well, most of it came out. And we can use the rubbing alcohol again to kind of help. Okay. All right, looks good. Okay, now we're going to put this back into the MacBook. Oops, I blew one of the little metal rings off. See, these come off so easily. All right, make sure those little rings and everything are on. 3 down there, then you got 4 long ones, and then 2 short circles again. All right, we're gonna put the motherboard or the MacBook right there again. Okay, we're gonna open up the MacBook slightly. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna slide carefully, get the trackpad back underneath here. Uh-oh, the little rings flew up. We gotta get those back in place. Why does this one have like some powdery stuff on it? I'm gonna clean this one up real quick. Make sure these rings are back in place. I'm gonna move this back out. Oh, these rings fall off too easily. Okay. So I need to get these metal rings back on. It helps to kind of use a magnet to get them into place. Oh, sorry, I'm doing this all off camera. But it helps to kind of use a magnet to lift it up and place it back in. Okay, this one side also, or these two sides also have like some little marks there, so let's see if we can clean that off. Okay, came off for the most part. We're going to clean off this metal ring. Okay. We'll put this last metal ring back in. There we go. All right, let's open this thing back up and hopefully we can get this in now. So we'll slot the cable back through. Carefully lift the trackpad up. Okay, you want to do this very slow and carefully because you don't want those metal rings to come out again. There we go. And as you can see, the trackpad can move around. So what we have to do actually is we have to put only a few screws in first and then loosely fit them. Actually, we can get all of them in, but you want to loosely fit them. And then after that, we can align the trackpad. Okay, so we'll get one corner screw over here first. Okay, and again, we're just loosely fitting the screws. You don't want to tighten them down. Okay, we'll get this screw in. All right, once we get those two, it'll hold itself in place. You can lower it down. Okay, and then we can go ahead and get all the screws in. Again, we're just loosely fitting them. You don't want to tighten them down yet. Make sure these screws are okay. There we go. You see how much movement there is in there? And that's why we need to line it up first, okay? All right, let's get all the trackpad screws in. Okay. Again, you just want to loosely fit them to make sure that it can still move around, because we are going to have to fix that after to line it up. All right, we're almost there. All right. And the way we're going to line this up is with some tape. Actually, I have some tape that I've already been using before, so it won't stick as strong. All right, we're going to temporarily attach that connector. Now what we're going to do, we're going to flip the MacBook over. Okay, let's zoom out here. We'll open this up, and you can see this piece can like kind of move around. So what we're going to do, we're going to use 2 pieces of tape to just hold this in place. All right, so we'll grab like this, and I'll use this tape as well. And what I do is I actually fold over little tabs so I can use that to peel it up later. Okay, and now what we're going to do, we're just going to get it on the trackpad first. I like to pull it all the way up and then down like this. And then when you do that, you can kind of find the center. So you go up to the center, down to the center, and then you go halfway, and then you can go like left and right, and then you can go halfway there as well. All right, and then it'll help to kind of look over the top. Right now it's at a weird angle for me because I'm trying to have it in camera for you guys. So yeah, you can see it's not exactly even right now. So I'm going to have to lift this side up and then move this over. But anyways, I'm going to have to look over from the top. So let me do that real quick, line it up, and I'll be back. All right, so we're good. You can see we have it all centered, and these tabs are here so I can peel it up. What we're going to do now, close it up, flip this back over, and then we're going to tighten all the trackpad screws back down. Okay, and it helps to kind of do the corners first. So we'll do that corner, then we'll do this corner, and then we'll go to this corner, and then we'll go to this corner. And if you're not sure after you do those 4 corners, you can flip it back over, open it up, and make sure everything looks lined up. But we're going to just go ahead and tighten it down because I used quite a bit of tape to hold it in place, so it shouldn't be able to move anywhere. Okay. And we should be able to just tighten all the screws down. Okay, and don't forget the 3 down here, of course. Okay, good. You can double check the screws one more time. So we'll go like this. Just make sure everything is tightened into place. Okay, good. All right, we're gonna unpop this connector. Gonna peel this back up. Okay, and then what we got to do, we got to get this battery connector back in first. All right, again, we have to make sure it's lined up. Again, we're using the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver for this. So what you want to do is you want to push this down, and you can look at it. You can see it's very much out of line. So I have to push this over. Probably have to push it even more. And then push this down while you're doing that. Then you want to look from the top and see Okay, from your angle it doesn't look like it's good, but from my angle, there you go, you can see the gold side from both sides. Okay, because my camera's a little bit tilted, that's why it doesn't look centered, but it's centered now. Then we're going to go ahead and get this screw in, tighten it all the way down. I was holding it down to make sure it doesn't move, like holding it here. Okay, and there we go, tighten that in. Now we got to get these cables back in, make sure this latches up, make sure these adhesive pieces aren't sticking on top of the connectors. And technically it doesn't matter which side you get in first, just get one of them in. Okay. It's hard to see because the thing is in the way, so let's see if I can push this up. Okay, and usually I'll use this plastic tab to help pull that in all the way, but whoever did this, I don't know if they lost the tab from before. Usually they wrap it around this piece. As you can see, it just kind of was just stuck on there. So we're gonna just stick this back on. Make sure that's in right. Okay, it looks like it should be good. We can go ahead and just stick this down on top again. Good. All right, we're gonna get this side in as well. Make sure this latches up. All right, and same thing. Get the connector in. Just like that. Hopefully, hopefully you guys can see. And we'll pull that in. You can see part of the gold pins are sticking out. Again, that's normal. Slide your finger over the latch. Slide your finger over the adhesive. This side I feel like it should go in a tiny bit more, but it doesn't want to move, so I think that's all it's going to go. Yeah, I don't think it's going to move anywhere, so we'll just leave it like that, and we'll double check if the battery is charged. Oops, sorry, I was just trying to pull that one in a little bit more. All right, let's go ahead and get the trackpad cable in now. Oops, line that up, click that in. Let's zoom out more, sorry. Okay, and then you can work your way down the cable again to stick it back into place. Get this tab back in. We're going to switch back over to the T3 or Torx 3. We're actually done with the T5, Torx 5. And we'll get this last screw in. Last two screws for these connectors, and then we can go ahead and test it. All right, so we got all of that into place. Good. Done with the T3, done with the T5. All we have left is the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. Let's go ahead and zoom back out and put the bottom cover back on. Okay, so here people can see the inside. I don't know if I'll use this as the screenshot or thumbnail, or if I'll use something where I pulled the motherboard out. I'll probably use something where I pulled the whole motherboard out. Okay, but anyways, that looks good. So what we're gonna do to get this cover on, it has to go in at an angle like this. Line up the edges here, okay, and then slide that up one side, slide up the other side. Okay, go back over here, slide that in. Oh, this one's kind of being a little stubborn. Okay, slide this side in again. Make sure both sides here are lined up and not sticking out or anything. Okay, make sure this all looks good. All right, looks like it needs to slide up a tiny bit more. Okay, then you go ahead and click these in, click that in, and everything looks good. Okay, so once you make sure everything looks good, we're just going to put back all the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screws, and we should be good to go. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all there is to this. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, you're likely going to have to plug it in before you can even turn it back on. But that's pretty much it. Again, I don't think I have the charger from the customer, so I can't plug it in to see if it's going to turn on unless it doesn't need the charger for that on this model. but I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna try and turn it on in a bit, and we'll see what happens. I know it was turning on before. It would just go into recovery mode because they tried to wipe it out, but because it was messed up, it didn't finish. So yeah, we'll see. Right, last screw. And now let's go ahead and see what powering it up does. Actually, let me readjust this a tiny bit. It's a little bit off center, and I'm OCD, so well, I'm not diagnosed OCD, but it bugs me. So I'm gonna undo these screws. I'm gonna try and center it a little. Okay, there we go. And now we'll tighten this down. Oh, I'm getting a call. Alright, last 4 screws. And then I'll probably have to wait for the charger to see. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and flip this thing over and see if it'll power up or if we need the charger. So take these things off. Push the power button. I don't feel the trackpad clicking, so I think I'm gonna need the charger. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna see about getting the charger from the customer. We'll power it up and we'll see. Hopefully it's gonna be working better, but yeah, for now nothing's happening. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all either in the next one or once I plug it in and see if it powers up. All right, let's drop. All right, so I plugged it in, and as you can see, it's powering up. It's telling me to activate the Mac because they turned it off, but anyways, it's powering on, so that's a good sign. Let's see if, oh, look, the keyboard is somewhat working. I don't know why it's skipping, like it won't go to the restart option. Left and right's working, so that's a good sign. But yeah, it looks like it's working a lot better than before. So that's pretty much it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.